All right, to create the Fusion track, we're going to bring in MIDI from the Fusion MIDI packs, both for EZdrummer 2 and EZKeys. I'm going to bring both products up in the window so we have them both open at the same time. And usually when I create a song, I will start with EZKeys. I'll create a song track, and then I will create a drum track next after I have the entire song track created. In this case, we're going to build each section of the song together. And the reason we're doing that is because since these Fusion MIDI pack products work so well together, we can bring in similar variations within a certain song category, and we can be confident that they're going to work well together. So we are going to use this Swanky 105, and I named it Swanky because it's kind of a mix between swing and funk. It's kind of a funk groove, but it has some swing overtones, swung 16th notes, and that's why it's called Swanky. Let's take this back down to 105, so we're going to match the tempo within each of these categories here. So you can see I have Swanky 105 in both EZdrummer 2 and EZKeys. So we're going to start with intro variation 1. Very nice little groove there. We're going to start simple and we will build in complexity to the end. So same thing, intro variation 1. And we'll play that together just so you can hear a little bit of that. What I love about that is there's space. There's space in the drums, there's space in the keys. Works very well together. So let's keep on going. We'll do fills later on, so we're not going to worry about fills right now. All right, next for the keyboard part, we're going to use intro variation 2. So same category, intro, use the second variation. And for the drums, we're actually going to go into the verse category, and we're going to use variation number 2 as well. And I'm going to move these down just a bit so that I can see my measure markers here. And actually what I want to do at this point is I'm going to cut this first block in EZKeys in half, because I want to bring in this variation 2, and we'll cut that in half as well. So that way we have a little bit of a variation there. So we're at measure 9, and I'm going to bring in verse variation 2 for the next drum groove. And we'll go into the verse category in EZKeys. We'll bring in verse variation 2 and also verse variation 3. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to cut this in half on each of these so we have some variation. All right, so measure 17, we'll bring in pre-chorus. Now for EZKeys, we're just going to go to the pre-chorus category. We'll grab variation 3, cut that in half, and grab variation 4. We'll cut that in half. In EZdrummer 2, we'll go to the pre-chorus, but we're going to cut things up just a little bit. So we're going to do variation number 3, variation number 4. So we're going to cut this first variation short, and we're going to cut variation 4 short as well. Now, I want to listen to variation 4. There's some times when it's not very busy, and there's some times when I'm playing a bit busier with some more ghost notes. So what I want to do is grab those moments where I am playing a bit busier, which happens more at the end, second half. So I'm going to use the second half of variation number 4. Let me zoom in a bit here as well. Let's take a listen to that. I want that busy playing to keep going, so I'm actually going to cut this, and we'll use the very end of this, and we'll duplicate it. And actually, we'll end up putting a fill there, but I'll duplicate it twice for now, just so we have something going on all the way through. So let's listen at starting at measure 21. And that works nicely. So that way we have that busy playing, that whole section. And the reason we're doing that is we're building into the chorus. That's the next section. All right, so for the keyboard part, we're just going to go into the chorus. We're going to pick a couple variations, cut them in half. Variation 2, variation 4. Very simple. For the drum part, we'll go into the chorus section, and we're going to cut things up again. So bring in variation number 4, and I'm going to use actually the second half. There's a cymbal crash halfway through. So that'll work just fine. Then I actually want to use the first half. So I'm really just splitting this up, and actually I'll use the whole section for this next part of the chorus, but I wanted to use the second half first and the first half second, if that makes sense. And then we're going to use the entire variation 4 block again. So that's at measure 33. So measure 33 for EZKeys, we're actually going to use a bridge section. So bring in bridge variation number 4. We're just going to use the whole thing for the EZKeys part to take us to the end of the track. Now we do need a resolution. I'm going to bring in verse variation 1 once again to resolve that chord. And if we zoom in there, what we're going to do is just cut this off, so that it's just playing a chord. And we'll edit this MIDI in our DAW, but that way we have a resolution. So let's zoom out a bit and let's take a listen. Starting at measure 33. We'll do the same thing for the drums. We'll just grab a variation here. It doesn't really matter. We'll go in, trim it down, so that we basically just have that last hit. All right, and that's all we're going to do for this track. We just have a few different sections. We're going to keep it short. We have our arrangement, and again, the way we went about it was we just went through, we picked a song category. For the most part, we stuck to the different sections and variations, used them together, meaning if I was in the intro category on EZKeys, I was also using the intro category on EZdrummer 2 within the same song, using different variations, and that way I knew the parts would fit well together. So we have our song track. In the next video, we're going to add some drum fills. So we'll go into this fills section. There's actually quite a few, and we will grab some fills to transition into the different sections of this song.